Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I admired you more than any other girl I've ever met since I met you.
Yes, I'm quite aware of the fact, and I often wished, in public at any rate, you'd been more demonstrative. For me, you've always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent towards you. You see, we live in an age of ideals, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing. It's mentioned in all the more expensive monthly magazines and has reached the provincial pulpits, I've been told. For me, my ideal has always been to marry someone, to love someone by the name of Ernest. Something in that name inspires absolute confidence. Ever since AndrewT told me he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
Gwendolyn, you really love me?
Passionately.
Darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Ernest.
But you mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest?
But your name is Ernest.
I know, but suppose it was something else. You mean to say that you couldn't love me then?
Ah, metaphysical speculation, but like most metaphysical speculations, has little reference at all to the actual facts of real life as we know them.
Well, darling, to speak quite candidly, I don't much care for the name of Ernest. I don't think it quite suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It's a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces vibrations.
I think that there are much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, to be a very nice name.
Jack? No, there's very little music at all in the name Jack. It produces no thrill. It produces no vibrations. I've known several Jacks, and they have all, without exception, been more than usually plain.
Gwendolyn, I must get christened at once. I mean, we must get married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Absolutely. I love you, and you led me to believe that you weren't absolutely indifferent to me yourself.
I adore you, but the subject of marriage hasn't even been touched on at all.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I would find it an admirable opportunity. And to be fair, I would like to inform you, quite frankly, that I'm fully inclined to accept you.
Gwendolyn!
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you got to say to me?
You know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Very well. Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will! How long have you been about it? I'm afraid you don't have very much experience on how to propose.
I love you more than any girl in the world.
Yes, but many men propose for practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me about it. My, what wonderfully blue eyes you have, Ernest. They're quite blue. I hope you look at me like that always, especially when other people are present.